What's going on, everybody? I am back to break down this 5-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel, giving you guys the top place to get in that green, winning some money as always. If you do enjoy this content at any point in this video, if you feel like I provide you with any value, any sort of good pick or insight as to your NBA DFS lineups, would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload and you don't miss when I go live. And if you didn't know, the sponsor of the program is Parlay Play. Go over there and check out them. Use that promo code KJK003 or the link down below in the description to receive an instant match deposit up to $50 when you deposit today. You can also tune into my live streams for some picks on the Bankroll Challenge. Use that code KJK003. You also get an instant $10 risk-free of entries when you sign up. Check out Parlay Play. And if you didn't know, during the new year, January, I am offering a discount on some of my premium content packages. The Discord package is only $1 now, typically a $10 value. You can also check out the KJK DFS NBA package for premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, core plays. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night, guys. Fan favorite segment on the channel. My favorite guy to lock in on your lineups in both websites. Let's get into the breakdown. First game on the slate tonight, we have the Golden State Warriors taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo as a pay-up option in this slate is certainly going to make a lot of sense. Looking at the total in this game, it's a 223 over-under, 2.5 point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. In a game that's actually expected to stay close, I'm always going to have interest in a Giannis Antetokounmpo, especially in a competitive game like this against the Golden State Warriors. So he is someone that I will be looking to right off the bat as a pay-up option, and we have plenty of value on the slate that we will talk about as we go along here. So really going to like Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo as a pay-up option. You can also be looking to, obviously, a Nikola Jokic, which we'll talk about later on in the slate, but Giannis, close game, one of the best fantasy point producers in the league. Right now, the second best, barely, outside of Nikola Jokic. Both these guys putting up about 1.7 DK points per minute, so absolute beast, and on a small slate, raw points will matter. So Giannis, great place to be starting on this slate tonight. Jrue Holiday is listed as questionable. He's expected to be out. So Dante DiVincenzo, Wesley Matthews could see some increased run in this one. But most importantly, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo just going to see even more usage. And also, with there continuing to be no DeMarcus Cousins after being waived, I do think we're going to continue to see Bobby Portis play some big minutes. He's played in the mid-30s to upper 30s in each of these games the last few times out. We'll continue to do so. So those three really making sense to lock in. Jordan Nwora is kind of your fourth option as far as usage and upside. If you'd like to go to him, he's not my favorite, but it could make some sense in tournament plays. And then as you go along, we have Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo. All sharpshooters, all priced in the upper 3K range to low 4K range, and all can get hot. So they're all kind of in the same boat here. They're all kind of clumped together as far as price tags, and they're all kind of the same player, it seems. So certainly worth taking some risks on in your tournaments. Other than that, really not too interested in this one. We saw Juan Toscano Anderson start last time out. 7 minutes, 19 minutes the time before. I mean, he's just a little inconsistent for me at 3-2. I don't think I'm getting too intrigued to play him in this one. Jordan Poole at 5K, I'm going to continue to talk about in this one because he is the sixth man off the bench. I think that with Klay Thompson being in, his ownership is going to continue to be low. If he comes in off the bench and gets hot, I could see him having a big game. His minutes have been somewhat limited the last couple times out, only playing 22 minutes and 24 minutes. So for that reason, can be a little bit dicey, but I still do think that he's a valid tournament play. Andrew Wiggins at 6'3", definitely a valid tournament play. Once again, just priced very friendly for these guys returning, so I'd be willing to go to him. And then Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, we talked about those guys, so that's kind of where I'd be looking to in this game overall. A paper option in Stephen Curry, also going to be viable at 11-2. It's just going to be kind of hard depending upon the value we're going to in the Portland Trailblazers game. We talk about that as we go along here, but there's no Anthony Simmons, so I have a feeling the guard position is going to be supplying us with a lot of value. So it might not be a position we really want to be paying up for. You could do it to get contrarian in your lineups, though. Minnesota taking on Memphis. Next game on the slate. This one comes in with a big total of a 230 over-under with a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. So going to be a high up-paced game. Always going to be good to be targeting for fantasy value. Continues to be no Dylan Brooks in this one. That is a big piece of news. 3 to 5 weeks he'll be out. Steven Adams has said is questionable. That is a huge piece of news because if he's in, that's going to be a hit to a Jaren Jackson Jr. and his rebounding upside. If he's out, Jaren Jackson Jr. really going to be looking really good here at 7-2. An up-paced game, would like him a lot. He's always a risk because he has a tendency of getting in foul trouble, but we saw him put up 57 and 52 DraftKings points before last time out. Last time out, only played 22 minutes getting in foul trouble, and he still put up 39 DraftKings points, so that's really good stuff. John Morant is going to be the other one. Going to have a ton of usage if there is indeed no Steven Adams. Not that Steven Adams is a huge usage guy. It's just you take him out of the equation. Jaren Jackson Jr. has more rebounding upside. John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to be the number 1 and number 2. John Morant's the number 1 regardless. He's going to be a phenomenal play. And Desmond Bane at 6'6" continues to be underpriced. With there being no Dillon Brooks, his usage is going to be back up, taking a ton of shots. 23, he dipped down to 10, then 15, 14, 14. Hasn't really shot the ball well last time out. He went 3 from 14 when he does struggle, but when he shoots the ball well, he really has a large upside. So in a fast up-tempo game, going to like him here certainly. And then these guys that are kind of on the cheaper end, I don't really have too much attention, to be honest with you. We have seen Jared Vanderbilt at 6'2" play a lot of minutes, put up a lot of fantasy points at times, 42 and 59 before dipping back down to 22. But the Minnesota side, it's really simple. It's D'Angelo Russell, it's Anthony Edwards, it's Karl-Anthony Towns. All the usage, all the upside is flowing through these 3 guys. D'Angelo Russell continues to be pretty underpriced at only a 7.9 price tag, so I'd be willing to go to him in tournaments. And then Anthony Edwards at 8.1, same thing. Karl-Anthony Towns at 10K, certainly making a lot of sense as well. Just a little bit negatively correlated to be getting all of these guys in your lineups. Karl-Anthony Towns, you could only pay up for 1 center that expensive, most likely. So you have to debate between him and Jokic is going to be probably the case. But you do get a slight discount on Karl-Anthony Towns. And if Nikola Jokic doesn't go out there and have the biggest game, in a fast up-tempo game, you could be looking at a Karl-Anthony Towns who could match him for score at a slight discount. So that's kind of an approach there. The only other guy I didn't mention is Kyle Anderson. With there being no Dillon Brooks, he's going to probably play a lot of minutes. Some of these guys that came back, though, are cutting into the rotation a little bit, kind of spreading it around. Still does great out as a decent play over here. Projected to play, right around the mid-20s in minutes. But is he someone I'm getting really, really excited to be going to? Probably not. We have some other guys that we'll talk about, most notably from that Portland team that are in the same price range that I would much rather be going to on this slate tonight. LA Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. This game right now comes in with a total of a 216 over-under, 3-point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. So decent pace game. Not the craziest in the world. We already talked about a 223, a 230. This one kind of matches out with the other 3 games on the slate as far as pace. 3-point spread. Now, it's interesting because this team, both of them are kind of similar. You have Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, Josh Hart. The usage is spread out between these 3. Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas, I've really seen their price tags come down, though, from where they were. I think their upside far out surpasses their price tags. We've been going to them a lot. But there's quite a few guys in this game that can really outperform their price tag. Going down the list here of some guys that I'll be looking to. We have Ivica Zubac, who's only priced at 4.4. Reggie Jackson at 6K. Nicholas Batum at 4.1. Devontae Graham at 5.7. Those are the guys that really stand out to me the most. But you have Jonas Valanciunas at 8.6, who does grade out as a pretty decent play here. Josh Hart at 6.8, who's a tremendous rebounder. And really good at racking up some peripheral stats, and his price tag really hasn't adjusted accordingly. So, guys played 37, 37, 34, 36 minutes the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Consistently, 9, 11, 6, 9 rebounds, and then he can score, he can get you assists, he can give you blocks and steals. So he's just kind of a fantasy point beast as far as getting all the peripherals at a 6.8 price tag. Certainly willing to get exposure there. Then you have Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe. All these guys are going to be viable plays depending upon the minutes that they get. There's still no Paul George. You have Amir Coffey's been playing a lot of minutes as of late. He's someone that I certainly want to be looking to. 33 and 43 minutes at only a 5.2 price tag. He's put up 33 and 43 DraftKings points. So I do think this is a game where you kind of can just place, whoever you have left for salary in there. The rotation on the Clipper side is really versatile. You have Terrence Mann, Eric Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson, Amir Coffey, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Ivica Zubac, all kind of just playing random minutes, it seems, as to who gets hot the most here. At 4-1 for Nicholas Batum last time, 26 minutes. He only put up 15 DraftKings points. He's certainly willing to, or capable of outperforming that. Terrence Mann at 5K, playing, right around 30 minutes, only 20, 22, 19. He's certainly capable of outperforming that. So it's kind of a little unpredictable. My favorite on the Clipper side by far would be Marcus Morris and probably Amir Coffey at this point. Amir Coffey's solidified minutes. He's really performing well. So those 2 guys would be the ones I'm looking to. Marcus Morris definitely going to be my favorite by far at 6'5". Just seems to have his minutes solidified. Fast up-tempo game. New Orleans Pelicans defense that's really not good overall. So, yeah, they're a little bit unpredictable on this slate. Terrence Mann, Nicholas Batum, all these guys I've talked about. Ivica Zubac, Marcus Morris are the ones I'd be looking to on the other side. You're really running it back with the core guys in Jonas Valanciunas, Josh Hart, Devontae Graham, and Brandon Ingram. Those 4 guys are really the ones you want to be locking in on. Their minutes are pretty solidified here. Herbert Jones, you'd be taking a risk to at 4.9 as well if you want. But other than that, I'm really not looking. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a guy that continues to grade out well for me. And for a lot of people, I feel, at only a 3.9 price tag, he does produce at a high rate, but his minutes have really been limited. Last time we finally saw him go up to 27 minutes. So that is interesting. Right as I was about to say, we haven't seen him play too much. He did finally get some big run last game, so I mean, if he gets 27 minutes, he puts up 0.89 DK points per minute. That's really, really good. So I guess I would be willing to take some darts in tournaments, but the minutes have been inconsistent, to say the least. So that is where I'd be going there. Oklahoma City taking on Brooklyn in this one. This game is expected to be a blowout, would be my assumption. It's a 9.5-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is on a back-to-back that blew out the Chicago Bulls last night for the most part. And now they are taking on an Oklahoma City Thunder team. That is terrible. So where I'm going to this one on the OKC side, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it's Lou Dort, it is Josh Giddey. It's really not that hard. These 3 guys really dominating most of the usage. And then from there, you can go down to a Darius Bazley, who's started to see his minutes ramp up as well. Played 30 minutes last time out. I mean, that's a very big deal. If he's going to be playing 30 minutes a game now, he's going to project as a much better play in my projection model. Right now, I've got him projected for 25 at 0.85 DK points per minute. Still grades out as a pretty phenomenal value at only a 4.3 price tag. Lou Dort at 5.5 grades out as a pretty great value here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander grades out as a pretty great value at 8K. So, yeah, Josh Giddey. So, all those guys that we just talked about and do grade out as a pretty great value, followed up by Robinson Earl at only a 4K price tag. So, surprisingly, the Oklahoma City side looks pretty good here. The question is, can they keep the game close? And I don't really know if they can, and if they don't, how early do they pull the plug on these starters? And I tend to think it's going to be pretty early. So it's a 9.5-point spread. That's kind of the risk you're taking on. All those guys do grade out as pretty great plays over here on DraftKings. On the net side, I'm really not all that intrigued, to be honest. James Harden, Kevin Durant. Well, actually, you know what? Here's the thing. There is no Kyrie Irving in this game, so I need to kind of check myself. This is one of the most important things you have to be paying attention to with the Brooklyn Nets. When they're at home, he's not going to be available unless there was an update that I'm unaware of. So when he's on the road, he's going to be playing. When he's at home, he's not going to be playing. So that actually is a bump up to a Kevin Durant and James Harden, whose price tags we're going to have to be keeping an eye on. James Harden was 10.4. His price tag went up to 10.7. Kevin Durant, 11K. His price tag was 11K last time out. So, yeah, I mean, if the game stays close, those guys could be 2 decent pivots off from some of the chalk pay-up options in a Giannis Antetokounmpo and a Nikola Jokic. And the other thing to be keeping in mind is with no Kyrie Irving, we could be seeing some more upside for guys for like a Cam Thomas and a Patty Mills. Going to be taking on more shooting responsibilities. Their price tags probably won't go up when he's ruled out. Same thing with like a Bruce Brown. You could be taking some dart throws on these guys in tournaments. And a Duke Jr., depending upon the starting lineup. Make sure you keep your eyes on that starting lineup. But overall, still, they're kind of just playing these guys even minutes across the board. My favorites by far are going to be Cam Thomas and Patty Mills. They have the most solidified roles on the team. Portland taking on Denver. So this is where all the value comes in. I kept saying, well, we can go there, but maybe not Portland. Well, we can go there, but we have to look at Portland, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because the Portland Trailblazers are very short-handed. It's an 8.5-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets in this one, and they have no Damian Lillard, no CJ McCollum, no Anthony Simmons, no Norman Powell now. So what does that mean? That means all these guys are going to play massive minutes. Aaron Gordon, 5'8", could be a decent play on the Denver side. We'll talk about Denver after Portland. Robert Covington is Zero Little, going to play a bunch of minutes. 5'8", 5'6", too cheap for these guys. Dennis Smith Jr. as well, expected to get the start at the point guard position. He's going to be too cheap. Ben McLemore at 4'2", he's going to be too cheap getting a start in this one. Breaking down how these guys perform on a permanent basis. As far as the Portland Trailblazers are concerned, let's go ahead and just pull up their whole entire roster here so we can kind of talk about this. But Yusuf Nurkic, 1.26 DK points per minute. Robert Covington, 0.75. And Nazir Little, 0.84. Ben McLemore, 0.79. Dennis Smith Jr., 0.95. Cody Zeller as the backup center, 0.99. CJ Ellaby going to get more minutes in this one, 0.80. Greg Brown over 72 minutes, 0.92. So this is actually pretty interesting here because they're going to have to spread these minutes out more than they probably would like to. And from what I'm seeing, Cody Zeller is actually not even listed as available, is he? That's actually, okay, he's questionable. He's doubtful. Okay, that's actually a big piece of news as well. So that's going to mean that we're going to see even more minutes for CJ Ellaby and possibly, obviously more minutes for a Watford as well. A trend in Watford who's going to be the backup center now. So yeah, they are really depleted. We're going to want to be loading up on these Portland Trailblazers guys because someone has to score. They're all underpriced. And I do think that playing some guys off the bench could be really interesting in your tournament options because all these guys at 3K, I mean, they're probably going to have to play some minutes. CJ Ellaby specifically, Tony Snell is another guy. I'd expect them to run both these guys out a decent amount of minutes in this one tonight. Maybe they could spread it then to a Greg Brown, Blevins as well. But I tend to think it's going to be Ellaby, Tony Snell, Greg Brown, Watford off the bench. I guess Blevins will probably get a little bit of minutes, but I think he's probably the one that sees the least amount of run in this one. Once again, just kind of speculating because we won't really know. It's not like we've seen this scenario before. But, yeah, this will be interesting to monitor regardless. The starters are going to be phenomenal value plays. Even if they only play like 30 minutes in this game, turns into a blowout at their price tags. Really should be able to get you there. And then running it back on the other side, Will Barton's listed as questionable. He might return in this one. We have Nikola Jokic as a pay-up option. He should just absolutely beast and feast in this spot if he's able to get a full allotment of minutes. That's the biggest question, I guess you could say, is if they decide to pull the plug, if they're absolutely blowing out Portland tonight. But if they don't, Nikola Jokic, absolute smash spot. Portland, not good defensively. And I'm really going to like Jusuf Nurkic on the other side of this game as well, especially with all these Portland guys being out. The usage should be through the roof. Taking on his former team in Denver, we have a little bit of a revenge narrative here. So everything kind of matches up to be just loading up on this game on the Portland side, taking all the value that you can possibly fit, and then being able to play all the studs on this slate. And it seems pretty easy. It's probably going to be the chalk build, but it should be for good reason because, I mean, it's just that easy. And, yeah, guys, that is my overall breakdown here. Switching over to FanDuel before I let you guys go, it's going to be kind of the same story. I mean, all these Portland guys are going to be the value. Looking at the point guard position, Dennis Smith is 4-4. Ben McLemore is 4-1. Really easy to be getting some exposure there to those two guys. Going to play a lot of minutes. Small forward, power forward, Robert Covington, great play. Nazir Little at 5'3". CJ Ellaby at 3'6". Tony Snell at 3'5". All punt plays you could be going to. Trent Watford at the power forward position at 3'5". You could be taking some punts to at a 3'5" price tag. And then with Cody Zeller being out, that's just going to make it more easier to go to him. And then Jusuf Nurkic at 7'5", absolute phenomenal play on FanDuel as well. Price at a discount. You can only play one center at FanDuel, so you're going to have to kind of, decide between Jokic, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jonas Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson, Jusuf Nurkic, Bobby Portis, all of which are great plays. But to me, I mean, Jusuf Nurkic is really someone that stands out. His usage should be through the roof. I'm sure he wants to play well against his former team. And just going to be a great play. And then you can load up with all the guys in fast up-tempo games, pay-up options we talked about. Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, a bump up with no Drew Holiday, Anthony Edwards, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart we talked about, Marcus Morris at 6'5", Amir Coffey, Lou Dort, Nazir Little, Darius Baisley, Nicholas Batum, Terrence Mann, all of these guys we talked about. But to me, using that Portland value to get up to some of these studs really does make a lot of sense on this slate tonight. And that's the easy approach, that's the smart approach, and that's what I would recommend that you do on this slate tonight. So, John Morant at 9.7, going to be a great pay-up option. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey. We kind of already talked about all this, but it's really just a matter of filling in all those top plays around Josh Giddey at 6'8", really, really cheap on FanDuel too. I mean, great play, but yeah, using that value to fit in all of those studs, going to be a smart way to do it, in my opinion, on this slate tonight. And with all that being said, guys, before I let you guys go, quick reminder, head on over to Parlay Play, sign up using that promo code KJK003 down below in the description. I will be having some picks for you guys, if at all possible, on these live streams. With the protocols, it has gotten a little bit crazy because not all the lines are posted, not all the top picks I would like to be going to are posted because, there's a star that gets ruled out, and he's the one listed on Parlay Play, and then they're not replaced. But when they are, we're going to take advantage of this, continue to build our bankroll. Sign up today using that promo code, and you can also check out the KJK DFS premium packages. Link below in the description. You get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, all of that fun stuff. And you can get the Discord package for only a price of $1 throughout the whole month of January. Check it out, patreon.com/KJK_DFS, and that's also linked below in the description. And with all that being said, guys, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Dennis Smith Jr. This one's a no-brainer. No Anthony Simmons in this one. Expected to start at the point guard position, and the websites have just not adjusted. This guy, on average, a very good fantasy point producer, putting up 0.95 DK points per minute. Only 4K. Very cheap over there on FanDuel at only 4.4 as well. Great at getting some blocks and steals, can shoot the ball, can get to the rim, all of the above. Should play lots of minutes and have a bunch of assist upside here as well. Get him in your lineups because he is my lock of the night. So there, guys, Dennis Smith Jr., really a no-brainer on this one, but he's going to be the top value on the slate. Has a ton of upside at this price tag. Get him in your lineups, and that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a second to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. You also get notified when I go live. All of that fun stuff. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.